What is going on, everybody? Welcome into the MLB DFS Playbook Show here on Fantasy Alarm. I'm Howard Bender. I got Henry Wilson with me here, and you're going to see a lot of the two of us over the next, 6 months, because we got a long MLB season, and Henry and I are going to take you here for the DFS Playbook Show. Now, we're recording the night before opening day, just so everybody knows, because we want to make sure we got this content out to you guys nice and quickly. So do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button here on the YouTube page. We appreciate everything that you guys bring in there. Throw your comments into the chat. We will be doing a live stream Monday through Friday every at 4 p.m. Eastern. You'll be getting us doing all of that, and so we're gonna carry it through. Make sure you make it some money in DFS. Now, Henry, what's up, dude? Like last year, quiet season here at Fantasy Alarm. I wasn't as involved in the DFS world as I wanted to have been. But here we are now. It's you, it's me. We are partners in crime for the duration of this baseball season. How the hell are you?
I'm great, man. Yeah, I'm excited for the season. I think you and I are going to have a lot of fun. Hopefully people have a lot of fun listening to us. Super excited to kick off, game one of a whole 162 of doing this. So going to be a good time. Hopefully we have a little more fun with this than my fandom of the Red Sox will have this year, because I'm a little worried about that one. So let's make up for that by making some money on some DFS and doing some good stuff.
Yeah, Yankees fan, Red Sox fan, this one could be interesting. I'm not gonna lie. We could have some moments. You guys have seen me spar with John and Pemba at Fantasy Alarm, and I think that it's very possible here. Red Sox have some interesting pieces. You always want to use like Rafael Devers or DFS. So we'll get to it, but. Yeah, I'm sure you're going to see some Yankee love, and I'm going to see some Red Sox love, and neither one of us are going to love the either. You guys can follow Henry on the old Twitter at X Machine. It's at Henry13 Wilson 13. I'm not very tech savvy, so having our names up there right now, I know it's a setting that's probably easily fixable. I don't know. You see all the gray? I don't know. So I'm just saying it right there. He's at Henry13 Wilson 13. I'm at Roto Buzz Guy. And let's get to it. First and foremost, Henry, we already losing 2 games. Now, for DFS purposes, DraftKings, just the 8-game slate. Those are only the 4 p.m. Eastern games that we're seeing there for DraftKings. For FanDuel, it used to be a 10-game slate. It is now officially a 9-game slate, as the Mets-Milwaukee game has been postponed. Atlanta-Philly, Strider-Wheeler. It wasn't really a game I wanted to invest in for DFS. That was a game that I wanted to just sit and watch, dude.
Yeah. That is a shame that we don't get to see those guys on opening day, but oh well, we'll move on.
we will. Angels Baltimore, that is one of the games that's on the FanDuel slate that's not on DraftKings, but there's major weather going on right now. They say it's supposed to let up by noon. I don't know. You're going to end up with delays, and for me, I don't know how you feel about that, but like as soon as I start seeing rain, I get it. There's a time and a place during the season where you want to get contrarian and jump into that rain delay risk. Opening day, I don't really see the reason to do it.
No, you got a lot of other good games, plenty of places to go. Yeah, if there's a whole lot of rain delays and you got to pick and choose, sure, but it's the only game you're worried about. I would just avoid it.
All right. Yeah, I would as well. All right. Well, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to talk through some pitching. We're going to talk through some hitting. By the end of this whole thing, Henry and I are going to build you a nice little tasty lineup over on DraftKings. So why don't I do us a favor, bring the board up, tuck us handsome fellas down here in the corner, because we know everybody just wants to see all the names sitting on the slate right there. I got to make sure that don't over scroll on that run there. All right, we'll start with pitching. I mean, you tell me your process actually, like, because I think it's beneficial for everybody here. Do you always start with the pitchers and then build around for hitters, or do you lock in a couple of hitters first? What's your normal process stepping in here for a DFS slate?
Yeah, I love picking my pitchers first. I feel like you can go a lot of different directions with hitters, whether you want to go, high price, low price. I want to find the two pitchers I'm comfortable with, and whether that's high end or low end, I can then build my hitters around that. But the pitchers is the real magic where DFS comes together for me. So I'm always, really choosing my two pitchers first.
All right, well, then let's do it. We're not going to sit here and go through every single pitcher and talk about it. Henry and I have been doing this for a long time. We can give you pros and cons for every single pitcher. Even the ones that we use, I'll give you a list of cons that'll outweigh the pros, and I'll say you're still going to want to use them. So we're not going to do that. This is all about giving you our top plays, the guys we're on right now. Again, you don't need me to, us to break down 12 different pitchers. You want the favorite. So I'm going to ask you right now, Henry, who's your favorite pitcher on the slate to use?
This might come as a shock, but it's Cole Ragans. I've been preaching Cole Ragans love all offseason. We saw what he could do in just a short sample last year, but he's amazing. He's got 5 legit pitches. He's got strikeout stuff. I think he could easily be a top 10 pitcher this year. And for someone without a long track record, it might seem like that price is high, but I'm paying it. Cole Ragans, I think, is just the pitcher for me off this board.
Yeah, I mean, it's it's so funny. I mean, every year the fantasy community gets in on certain guys, and it's so funny too because Cole Ragans is going up against Pablo Lopez, who is the other guy that everybody's on now. So when I look at that, it's like, all right, where am I at? What am I looking for in a pitcher? Like Cole Ragans here on DraftKings, I would use him as a pitcher just because I'm not going to worry as much about the win, him going up against Pablo Lopez, because it is going to be, I think, a low scoring game. But he's got that strikeout upside. And the Twins, they were like a bottom 5 team in strikeouts against left-handed pitching last season. And, they haven't really rebuilt the team. There's like a name or two that's different, but overall, I like this pick. So you like the Darlin, huh? The Darlin.
I do. The shiny new toy, but man, I think he's gonna be great.
With the kind of the powder blue, even though it's a Boston Red Sox hat, you're kind of connecting with the Royals, and exactly. I can dig that. So now the question is where do we want to, what do we want to do? Do we want to pay up? Do we want to pay down? If we're going to lock in Ragans into our lineup, because I got to tell you, I mean, he's just as pricey. He's $400 more. I love Tariq Skubal. Dude, this White Sox team is bad, like real bad. And, Skubal's a good strikeout pitcher. He's got a great arsenal as well. We've seen him develop. He's been a darling now for a couple of years, and injuries early on in the career kind of stifled it. I just look at this matchup and I just see a lost team in Chicago. Garrett Crochet is pitching for them, which to me means it's a bullpen game on opening day, right? How didn't Garrett Crochet throw like 13 innings last year? Like, how deep is this dude gonna go?
Yeah, Chicago has nobody, and I mean they have a couple decent players on their offense, but they're not gonna do much at all. So yeah, I love that pick too. Skubal's probably the other guy I've been talking up just as much as Ragans this offseason. I mean, his 80 innings last year were incredible, absolutely incredible. Some of the best strikeout stuff in the game. Yeah, I have no problem with that pick alongside Ragans if you wanted to really pay up. But I do think there's some good cheaper options too.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we can kind of work, our lineup, and we'll do this later on. We could pay up for Skubal and Ragans if we feel like there's enough value in hitting that we can dig up there and find out. Search for the value pitchers here. If we have to go, 1 up, 1 down, or even pay up 2 down, who's your favorite value?
Yeah, for me, there's a couple guys I really like, but the number one standout here is Zach Eflin. I don't understand how he is so cheap. I know that he might seem a little boring, doesn't maybe have quite the strikeout upside as some of these other guys, but he still was over a strikeout an inning last season. And you're talking about a top 15 pitcher throughout last season, even in this kind of format. And you're getting him as the 10th most expensive pitcher off this slate. It just feels like he's not getting enough love here for how solid of a pitcher he is. And I think he's got a decent chance to still rack up some strikeouts. He's going to go plenty of innings, good chance at a win. Eflin's just a great pitcher that you can get at a crazy low price.
Yeah, he definitely is. He's so underrated. You know why? Because he's not a fancy name. He's not a name that like people are, like freaking out about. He could be cheap because, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Bichette, there are some decent names in that lineup, but we've seen that Toronto lineup struggle a bunch as well. So I dig that. I feel like, I'm chasing strikeouts, maybe because it's DraftKings. I'm chasing strikeouts with a value pick of Jesus Luzardo. The Pittsburgh Pirates, they weren't a huge strikeout team against left-handed pitching, but you've got guys like you're going to see O'Neal Cruz up there. And while O'Neal Cruz could do so much damage to a baseball, he's also got a lot of holes in his swing. And I think Brian Reynolds is banged up. So, there's certain things about, Luzardo and his game that I like kind of using him for that strikeout upside as well. I mean, he's, last year it was his strikeout rate was it was ridiculous. And he's probably as healthy as you're going to get him for the entire season.
Yeah, I totally agree. I love the Luzardo pick too. He's probably my number 2 behind Eflin for the cheap choices here. I mean, you're also talking about a guy he's a top 20 pitcher. And again, he's going at this price. Again, he has more strikeout upside than Eflin even. He has, I think, a little more blow-up potential, but the upside's also huge. And yeah, that Pittsburgh team, I think, is going to be better this year, but they're not going to be good. They can still get attacked really easily. So
yeah, they got off to a hot start last year. I think everybody remembers what Pittsburgh was like for the first month and a half, almost 2 months of the season. And everybody in Pittsburgh was getting all jazzed up about Jack Sawinski. And, these guys were the next coming of the 1977 Pittsburgh Pirates. So, but no, does not work that way. Yeah. All right. So listen, I feel like that's, those are 4. Was there anybody that, that was like a borderline out of these 4 that we've talked about? Is there a 5th that maybe you were like, maybe let's think about it?
The 5th I would maybe think about it is actually Pablo Lopez, which is the other side of that Cole Reagans game. I think, again, he's got that strikeout stuff. He's proven to just be a workhorse, going to go out there, pile up strikeouts. I do really actually like the Kansas City Royals offense quite a bit this year. But again, they're not scary by any means, though. And so I'm not I know the Royals, you watch out for those Royals. I think they could surprise some people. But no, Pablo Lopez is amazing. And if you're going on that higher end, I don't think you're crazy to pay up the extra couple $100 over even Scuba Reagans if you really like Pablo Lopez, because he is a legit ace with track record too.
Sidebar, Your Honor. Once, when I was first coming up in this industry, I served as a beat writer covering the Kansas City Royals. That was back in the days when Hosmer and Moustakas were in the farm system, right? So it was pre all of that craziness there. So yes, I'm a closet Royals guy. I always have been. Love that team.
Love it.
Love that team. All right, so we're locking down here. We got Scooble, we got Reagans, we got Luzardo, we got Eflin. Any pitchers that you were looking at that have potential, but you were like, I'm totally out?
I know that there's some potential on Nestor Cortez. A lot of people love him, and Mitch Keller has a lot of upside, but they just scare me too much. They have too many question marks that maybe further in the season, if they've proven some stuff, I would jump into. Opening day, not interested.
Beautiful. And as when we move into hitters and we talk about the Los Angeles Dodgers, I'll just remind you that no, Miles Mikolas is not a good bargain play.
No, he's not. Please don't play Miles Mikolas.
I feel like there's 3 dudes in St. Louis that are like, oh, I'm so going with Miles Mikolas. It's gonna be so contrarian. Oh,
Don't do it. There's so much downside and no upside. There's just no.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right, let's move through here. So we're good on the pitching. We'll wait to see. I'll tell you what, as we play with the lineup here a little bit, we'll lock in. We're gonna lock in your guys right now, because if you go Reagans and you go Eflin, you're saving the money on the low end of paying up and paying down. But we'll see where we go with that. Let's move on to the wonderful world of the catchers out there. And again, we're not just we can make pros and cons for every single guy out there. That's not what we're about. What we're about here is just giving you the plays, and just, yes, we will every once in a while throw some fades out there just to remind you not to spend that money. So favorite play, we'll start with top plays first, paying up for these guys if they are worth it for us. We'll start off at the catcher spot there. I like Wilson Contreras. I think that he gives you some very, very consistent numbers. Yes, it's a little bit of a price hike. Glass now, but again, I think that we're going to kind of go into, Glass now was okay in Seoul, Korea, but he was a little wild and he walked some guys. And I think that Wilson Contreras he's a very consistent hitter. If you're going to pay up, I don't need to pay up for Will Smith, Mr. 10 years, $140 million. I might, just kind of hang out there, but I don't normally like paying up for catchers. If I'm going to do it, I'll go to Contreras. How about you?
Yeah, I think that's a good move. I think Wilson Contreras gets a little overlooked sometimes of being kind of boring just because he's steadily produced forever. But to be able to do that at the catcher position, not a lot of guys give you steady production. But I agree. I'm not going super high. Yeah, Will Smith can be tempting to get in that Dodgers offense, but I actually like Ryan Jeffers down just a little bit further. He's not paying way up, but that's still paying for a catcher. But Ryan Jeffers had a great season last year. He provides some power. He's just got great plate skills. And so far through spring training, which I don't want to give too much weight to spring training stuff, but the plate skills look even better. He's not striking out. He's walking. He's hit 4 homers. He provides some great power and really does it all at the plate for a catcher. I really like Ryan Jeffers. Again, he's going against Cole Reagans here. I know that's my pitcher pick. So if we're going Reagans, we're not going Jeffers here. But I think as far as the values of the price here, if you're not going Reagans also can't pitch the whole 9 innings. I like the value that Jeffers can give you. Okay,
I can definitely dig that. I'm gonna drop you a couple of $100 lower there. I'm just gonna shout out Jake Rogers here. Going even cheaper. I mean, this is a 20 home run bat that we saw last year. I'm very bullish. Maybe I had an interview with AJ Hinch that got me all jazzed up about the Tigers. So maybe there's a little bit of that kind of floating in here, but I do really actually like what they've developed. And to me, Jake Rogers, mashes left-handed pitching, mashes it, so, I'm looking at that, aspect of it here. I'm looking at the price differential, and I'm looking at the fact that it's home run power. So if I don't want to go Jeffers because we're going to use Reagans in our lineup, paying down to Jake Rogers, just taking a little bit of power. Yeah, you're a little worried about maybe some strikeouts and stuff, but I'll take that home run.
Yeah, no, I think that's not a bad move, but I also think you could just pay down an extra $400 and go for Yanir Diaz, who is being looked at as one of the top catchers potentially for fantasy this year.
How is he that low? How did I miss that? What is that?
I don't understand. I don't know. I keep questioning did I miss something? Is he hurt? Is he not going to be in the lineup? But I don't see anything. And I think Diaz is rightfully so being looked at as one of the best hitters in the catcher pool. And he's way down there. Don't understand it.
Last year, he posted a 264 weighted on base average against left-handed pitching. So maybe that's the issue there. But I mean, if that's your only issue with Diaz, I mean, what he does to right-handed pitching, Nestor Cortez, how many innings is he going to go? No more than 5, right?
No, and I don't know if I even buy that Diaz is terrible against lefties. It's not in a huge sample.
Right.
Maybe
True.
he still develops that. They're going to be letting him still hit and play every day against lefties. So yeah, maybe you take a little off of him for that, but not enough to get him all the way down to $3,000.
All right. Well, then I think we need to just kind of put him in there as sitting as a nice little placeholder here for our catcher spot. I'm very comfortable getting Diaz in there. I missed him. You know what it is? I'm allergic to Y Diaz, right? It's Yandy Diaz. It's Yainer Diaz. It always kind of screws me up a little bit, which I guess brings us to first base. And here we go. Because he is the fourth most expensive guy out there. But Yandy Diaz, who, listen, I don't believe that Yandy Diaz is going to, continue to mash at the level that he mashed at last year. He even slowed down as the second half had. I mean, you don't, in your age 31 season, you don't suddenly say, oh, yeah, well, it's all about my launch angle now. And here I am. So he did struggle a little bit in the second half with some adjustments, but I mean, you look at his numbers and you just, you have to love on that. I know that, you want a masher at first base. You want, big home run upside, but I really think Yandy Diaz could do some serious damage here to Jose Barrios and the kind of worked up bullpen here. Losing Swanson and Jordan Romano from the back end of that bullpen is going to tax the back end there for Toronto. So what about paying up for a little Yandy Diaz?
Yeah, I mean, again, even if the power comes down, he's going to provide a lot of value, even without hitting those homers. He's just such a great hitter. That offense is going to continue to score a ton of runs. Like, the Rays are just great. I think he is such a just beautiful guy at the plate. I mean, you can't ask for better plate skills than what he has. So yeah, I think he's a great value. But I think I like a little better, just a tiny bit lower. We're going to give a little more Tigers love here. Again, we already talked about how bad Crochet and that White Sox pitching is going to be. So why not Spencer Torkelson here?
Are we stacking Tigers?
Yeah, again, I'm giving love to those AL Central teams because I talked up the Royals already a little. I like this Tigers team too. I think they're going to do some stuff. And Spencer Torkelson's a big part of that. I think he is a masher. I think we're going to see more home runs from him this year. He hasn't had a super great spring, but I don't care about that all that much. I think he's going to come out. Kid's going to hit. I love Torkelson. I think he's going to be a great hitter in that Tigers offense. It's going to be improving. And it's the White Sox pitching. They're going to be throwing them meatballs.
I love me some Torkelson. I really do. But I'm going to throw down a name that I know you like as well. Because we can actually, we can pay down. Let's face facts. This Reds-Nats game, it's catching everybody's eye. And Christian Encarnacion Strand. Look at him down here. Look at that down at like $4,000. I love Torque. I do. But where is he? Where's Torque at 49? Save yourself 900. Get yourself a little slice of that Cincinnati Reds at Great American Small Park. $4,000 for Christian Encarnacion Strand. It's a good thing defense doesn't count in DFS. Offense, I think this guy can rake.
I'm 100% with you. Again, love Torque, but man, that's this price discount for Encarnacion Strand. Josiah Gray gives up a ton of homers anywhere, and then now you're talking about being in Great American Ballpark, which is Coors Light, but actually gives up more homers than Coors. I mean, they're going to put up a lot of offense. This Reds team, even despite the injuries they've been struggling with, news of Matt McClain getting surgery is rough. You've got the PED suspension to Marte. That doesn't matter. Their offense is still amazing. And yeah, Strand in that park, he's going to hit. I love that pick.
All right. All right, cool. Well, I'm just gonna put him in there. I mean, again, I think Yandy Diaz, Spencer Torkelson. That's definitely where I want to live if I'm gonna pay up. I mean, again, we might switch this up a little bit, but I like getting these bargain guys in here, right? Yainer Diaz Encarnacion Strand, because at some point we're going to be like, I want to pay up. I have to pay up. And oh, look, we're going to second base and it's Mookie Betts, sitting here at the top. I don't even know if I put Mookie Betts down as like my favorite, but he should. Oh, I put Altuve down as my favorite. But you know what? I'm taking it back. I'm just gonna say it. I mean, Mookie looked great all spring. This dude has such a big Kool-Aid smile on his face. He had a great series in Korea. It does not look like the move to shortstop is gonna affect him at all. I know it grinds your gears a little bit as a Red Sox fan to have to sit here and praise Mookie Betts, but you guys chose not to pay him. That recently just came out. You guys didn't want to invest in the player, so you can't have bad feelings anymore. Mookie's the best.
Yeah, no Mookie love is lost on me. I still love Mookie, and I didn't put him as my number one guy either. I put Gleyber Torres, actually giving some Yankee love because I think he can do. I think he's overlooked a lot of the time, and I think could provide some value. But then I also start thinking, sure, it's $2,000 more, but is Mookie Betts 50% better than Gleyber Torres? Probably. Mookie Betts is just incredible, and as far as like lock it in production who's just gonna like break a slate sometimes too, it's Mookie Betts. If you have the money to spend, it's really hard to ignore Mookie Betts, especially when you can play him at second base. It's one thing when it's outfield, you have a bunch of great options, but when your next best is Altuve and Kim and Torres, Mookie Betts looks real nice.
Yeah, this is where I got greedy here doing the show sheet. I do have Mookie Betts down there, but he's my top outfielder. I don't know what I was thinking. Again, still just getting used to that second base shortstop eligibility.
Shortstop, man. Starting shortstop.
Dude, I'm so overweight on him in fantasy baseball. It's hysterical. It's hysterical how much Mookie Betts I have. And I'm in for that. But, I don't know. It's 6,500. It's a tough guy to fill in. Gleyber Torres at 4,500. Yeah, I can definitely dig that. I had mentioned Altuve, but I'd rather, if we're going to pay up, we might as well just pay up. I threw a value down here. He's a little lower. But again, this is all about my Reds love. $3,900 for Jonathan India. The injury to Matt McClain puts Jonathan India as the starting second baseman. He's locked in. That's his spot. That's his position. He's not going to have to worry about DHing. They're going to leave him in there. So Jonathan India, greasy hair and all, I dig using him. We're going to have to see what this lineup is going to look like over at, for the Reds, and where we're going to be able to kind of stack. But I want to give India at least a shout out here as a value play.
Yeah, I love Jonathan India. The only real question to him has been the playing time, because where is he going to play? The talent is there. I mean, the injuries, obviously, he always is hurt. But if he's healthy and he's locked in playing time, you should not ignore Jonathan India. He is still a great player. I think he's going to produce for this Reds lineup, especially now when he's locked into that playing time. And yeah, I love that pick. Love this Reds lineup. Can't go wrong there. I do have, I think, an even cheaper option, though, that might seem a lot more boring than India, but I weirdly really like Luis Garcia Jr. for the Nationals.
Really?
And I know. I think this is someone that a lot of people are sleeping on. He seems really boring because there's just not a lot of fantasy juice of late, but also kid's 23. He still has time to develop, and I think he can add some power. I think he can even steal a little more than he has been with the speed that he has. I think he has another level that he can get to for the Nationals. And again, it's in this Reds park that's going to have offense, and Frankie Montas is the starting pitcher, which is he really a scary place to go for opening day? I mean, he's not a number one. I've liked Montas for a while now and been a bit of a believer in him, but you can't tell me that he is an ace number one starter here that you should be avoiding going after on opening day in Cincinnati.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I was talking to Jim Bowden about Frankie Montas, and it was like, a week and a half ago, he was like super bullish on him, and he was named the opening day starter. And I guess then he had like a rough outing as like his final outing. And then suddenly today, Bowden was like, yeah, well, he was only given that because Hunter Green hasn't had a good spring, Montas has it. I was like, oh, dude, you're taking the wind out of my sails right now here about Frankie Montas, for crying out loud. What happened to he's healthy and he looks great this spring? Apparently, no. Apparently,
Yeah,
no.
don't love that. Still like Montas. I hope he can succeed. I think he has the stuff to be a good pitcher, but I'll believe it when I see it at this point.
We've got projected lineups over at fantasyalarm.com. I just want to take a look. Like, I'm not ready to lock Luis Garcia's name in there. However,
I get it.
No. However, we might be able to, depending on where he is in the lineup, be able to pair him with a certain somebody and see if that'll work. But I seriously doubt he is. I think Garcia's all the way. Yeah, he's at the bottom.
Yeah, he's probably at the bottom. Again, this is you're going rich elsewhere. You need value elsewhere. Take a look at Luis Garcia, but paying up at second base can probably be a better option. But if you really have other places you want to spend your money, I think Luis Garcia you could go to.
All right. Well, do we wanna spend up here? Oh, again, just a placeholder. I'll tell you what, because it's just a placeholder. Let's just throw Mookie in there.
We gave too much love to Mookie not to at least sit him in there for a minute.
Just kind of tuck him in there at second. He's looking so handsome. I'll leave him there while we move on to third base and we kind of figure out who we like the most over at third. I'll let you start off here. Favorite third baseman? Who's it going to be?
Yeah, my top guy here is Alex Bregman. I think another guy that gets overlooked for just having steady production constantly. I mean, dude hits, and I already said that I'm not so sure about Nestor Cortez. I like him, but we haven't seen him really pitch great for a while. And this Houston offense is still super good. And I think Alex Bregman is getting overlooked in a lot of ways, and he's still a top hitting third baseman. And I really like Alex Bregman.
Yeah, I like Bregman as well. I can't argue against him. Really. Wait, I've got the third base numbers there for how he's looking, and still a solid, still solid numbers against lefties. And again, we don't really worry about how deep Nestor Cortez is going to go. I can dig Jan Bregman. I definitely can. It's kind of funny. Where's Bregman's over here? I actually went right around there, $100 more. I went to Max Muncy. Again, it's the lefty bat going up against Miles Michaelis. It's just a lineup that it cooks, right? I mean, there's really like, as you go through this lineup, there's no respite for any pitcher. And, it's like 1 through 6, 1 through 7 now, if you just want to include Will Smith. So Muncy's like right in that realm. Now, I know he sometimes deals with strikeouts, but Miles Michaelis definitely throws to more contact. So I kind of like Muncy here, in this matchup overall. I think he's just, sitting in a really good spot, mashes against righties. Most of his power all comes against righties. So I kind of lean there.
Yeah, I don't hate that. And as much as I love Alex Bregman too, I think Muncy does provide more upside. I think Bregman's got a higher floor because he doesn't have the strikeout potential. I think he's going to like more often. He's going to for sure produce for you. But if you're chasing upside, which a lot of times in DFS you kind of want to do, Muncy is a good bet there because he has that big home run potential. And in that Dodgers lineup, that could come with a whole ton of RBIs and runs too. And yeah, Miles Michaelis, we already talked about that. Yeah, I don't hate this Muncy pick at all either. I think he's great.
All right, so if we're paying up, we're looking at Muncy and we're looking at Bregman. Again, again, we can make arguments for Royce Lewis and Nolan Arenado and even Ke'Bryan Hayes. You could make an argument for Ke'Bryan Hayes. Like that's kills me. His numbers against lefties, I believe, are rock solid. But I don't want to. Yeah, his numbers against lefties have been really good. But again, I'm not leaning in that realm. I like Luzardo on the strikeout realm. So all right, so if we're paying up, we like Muncy, we like Bregman. If we're paying down, where do you want to go?
Yeah, I mean, I think the middle has some good guys. Of like, you could go to Candelario to still be in that Reds, or even if you didn't put Encarnacio Strand at first, he also can be slotted in at third. But I like going down even further to a nice young guy going back to the Tigers, and Colt Keith. He is all the way down at $3,000. I'm pretty sure he's going to be in that opening day lineup. We have to see for sure. But if he is, which I think he will be, I really like Colt Keith as in at this young low price. I don't think this price is going to stay low because I think he's going to consistently produce in this Tigers lineup. They paid him the money. He's going to be starting for him, and he can hit.
Yeah, I like the fact that they signed him. I love the fact that he's going to be locked in. He's playing second base, so he's qualifies here at third for the time being, but he's going to play second base every day for the Tigers. I like that call. It's kind of funny. I bargain shopped a little further, in the area here. Not as far down as Keith, but I stayed with the Detroit Tigers and went with former Yankee Gio Urshela. I mean, they brought him in because they love his defense. They were worried about what their defense was going to look like at third base. They brought him in. He's had a good spring. He's fit in real well with the vibe of the team, and he destroys lefties. And again, we don't know how long Garrett Crochet is going to go, in this game, but at least I'm hoping to see at least 2 at-bats against Crochet here for Urshela, and I think that's going to end up kind of putting in there. But I can't argue against Keith. Maybe Keith, opening day jitters here for the Rook, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. And yeah, Gio Urshela he's been there, done it. We've seen him be a great hitter basically all across his career. He's been a solid hitter. Again, he's had some struggles with injuries and stuff and shifting teams, but I think because of that, he's kind of getting underpriced just because it's been a little while since they've really seen him producing every day, but he can still hit. I like Gio Urshela as well, and I think that was a great ad by the Tigers. I think he fits in super well with their team, and when he's in that lineup, and yeah, like you said, especially against lefties, he's going to hit.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to have to see what that lineup looks like and make sure that he's in there. He should be in there. We'll throw Colt Keith in as the placeholder, though, because he's cheaper. And if Mookie's hanging out there at 6,500, Colt Keith at $3,000, that's a really nice spot for us to be as we slide into shortstop, because I mean, this position is just so loaded. It's so loaded. I mean, with it being as loaded as it is, you feel like you can find some really nice value out there. But I mean, how do you turn down some of these top names? I'll let you go first here because I know who you got, and I love this guy so much.
Yeah, no, shortstop is loaded. I mean, it seems like not that many years ago that shortstop was a wasteland for fantasy, and now it's amazing how deep it is of just great hitters. But yeah, my guy there, Bobby Witt Jr. I know he's the most expensive, but that's because he just provides the most value for fantasy, and it's, I think, far above everyone else. Even great guys like Ellie De La Cruz, Bo Bichette, Xander Bogaerts. These guys are all awesome hitters, can produce, but Bobby Witt Jr. is just on another level, providing the power, providing the speed, just getting on base constantly. It's just rare that he's not going to return even this super high price with how good he is.
Yeah, I mean, you look at this. I mean, the only argument that I could make against right now really is just that it's Pablo Lopez, and I know Lopez struggled during the spring. It is a tough matchup, but yeah, I mean, Bobby Witt. I mean, he does it all. And the fact that he steals bags as well is, I mean, that's a huge get sometimes. It's kind of funny when we look at, in regular fantasy, we look at like those top 7-8 picks in season long fantasy, and they're all superstars who hit for power and steal bases, right? From Julio Rodriguez to Kyle Tucker to Bobby Witt Jr. to Ronald Acuna, like all of these guys, they add that stolen base element. And having that in DFS is huge because, stolen bases, it's a nice boost for your points. So, I like that with Witt. I was thinking with stolen bases as well. I looked down over it at CJ Abrams, actually, at $4,600. I like Abrams a lot. I bet him over 1.5 hits plus runs plus RBI. I got it for like minus 105. And so I was like, all right, whatever. And I was like diving into his numbers, does a phenomenal job against right-handed pitching. It's Frankie Montas, who you besmirched earlier, right? It's Great American Small Park. He is a power speed combo. So I kind of like Abrams here. If I'm going to, I mean, again, yes, Bobby Witt Jr., Ellie De La Cruz, O'Neal Cruz. There's so much potential there. I feel like Abrams is a little sneaky, and he gets that ballpark favorite as well. Not to mention the fact that our projections over at fantasyalarm.com have Abrams as being one of the top scoring players on this entire slate.
Yeah, no, I can't argue against CJ Abrams. I've been an Abrams fan since back when he was still just in the Padres organization. He really put it together last year. I think he's going to be awesome. Yeah, I think, again, don't undervalue stolen bases in DFS too, because, yeah, even if he doesn't hit that homer, he can get you a couple hits and 2 or 3 stolen bases in a single day, maybe. Like he can steal. So I think the value is super there for him. He's someone I really love, who I've gotten like no shares of this fantasy offseason because his price has been insanely high, which fair. But that just means that I'm going to be going after him in DFS since I didn't get my, season long shares of him. And yeah, love CJ Abrams in Cincinnati. What more can you say?
Not much. All right. Well, if we can't afford CJ Abrams, I mean, I'm looking at our lineup right now, an average remaining player. Not bad. If we can find some bargains in the outfield, we could go CJ Abrams, who's a bargain, a little cheaper of a shortstop for you. I had thrown out Anthony Volpe, because I mean he does a good job against left-handed pitching. I know that Framber Valdez is a stud, but Volpe, even with the lousy batting average last year, still went 20-20, and worked on his mechanics during the offseason. Really focused on his hitting during spring training. I don't think he hits as badly as he did. He just hits me, like 240, 250. It's a huge improvement, especially if he can maintain that 2020 status. So a little bit cheaper than Abrams here, but maybe you're looking even dirtier.
Yeah, I like a guy a little cheaper, which I'll give the Volpe love too. I think he gets too much hate. I think, he's going to take a step up this year. His last season was still awesome. They let him keep going. He's going to take a step up. But I like a guy coming back from injury and getting back into the best lineup in baseball, Gavin Lux, who is shifting over to second base. And clearly, doesn't have the defense to hold up at short, but we don't care about that. He's going to be playing at second base. He can hit. He's in the best lineup in baseball, and he's only $3,400.
All right. Can't argue against it. I can't argue against it. I mean, listen, I think that he's swinging the bat fairly well. It's his defense that holds him out. So maybe, in a random game, he kind of gets, pulled out and loses an at bat towards the tail end if they're looking for defense. But, from everything that Dave Roberts has been saying, they've definitely enjoy his bat. They think he brings a lot to the table. So we can definitely look at Lux. I'll tell you what, I'm going to put CJ Abrams in as a placeholder here just for the sake of it. It gives us 4,300 per player. I think what we should probably do here for the outfield, let's look to the bargains first, and then we'll see if we can get one of the big boys. We know it's going to be tough to get in a Judge, a Soto, an Alvarez, a Tatis, a Tucker. It's going to be tough to get one of those guys in at that price, but maybe we find some bargains here. Where do you want to go? Super cheap.
Yeah, super cheap. I'm going back into Cincinnati. Will Benson.
Where is Benson?
Man,
How much is he?
3,300.
Yes.
You got to keep scrolling for him, which just seems crazy because
he's right there. He's
man,
right there.
does
So
Will
handsome.
Benson provide value. He has power. He has speed. He now has playing time in that riddled Cincinnati offense. And against, again, a righty in Josiah Gray who loves to give up homers. Will Benson's awesome.
Will Benson is awesome. John Impemba actually has him in the playbook. I'm not even going to mess around with it. I love getting that share right there of Cincinnati. Again, it's going to be easier. We're doing this the night before. Once we start getting the lineups, then we can start working on pairing and doing some mini stacks and kind of figuring that out. Like I'll be doing like a video the night before, just kind of outlining the slate, but it's going to be that 4 p.m. live stream with me and Henry that you guys are going to get Monday through Friday, where we're really going to be diving into creating some absolutely fantastic lineups because we'll actually have them out there and we'll be able to say, oh, look, yeah, we got Will Benson, who's whatever, he's batting, 7th, and Christian Encarnacion Strand is 6th. So boom, we're going to love on that. So Benson is that's a solid option there. I love looking at him as a nice little pay down. For me, just looking at some value there, going up against Nestor Cortez. I'm going to go back to the Astros here, and I'm actually going to go and find a little, where is Chas McCormick? I don't even know how far he is. Oh, there he is. 4,200. All right. I don't necessarily know if we're going to lock him in. We could lock him in. But, Chas McCormick, he should be batting leadoff for the Astros. And just look what's behind him in Alvarez, Tucker, Bregman. He's a good on-base guy. He hits lefties really, really well. I think that it's going to make for a great table setting moment for you there. So McCormick is the other guy as a nice little value play. Now, where did you want to go pricey? Because, we got 5,400 left here. We could, it takes us out of the real big boys. Mm-hmm. But, of course, we could probably find a place to pay down a little later on here if we went too pricey. We could pay down from Abrams if you wanted to go down further. It's if you wanted to get an Ohtani, a Judge, a Soto. Who's your top outfield play?
My top outfield play, if we did get some more money, is Kyle Tucker. I have some others I also like that we can afford, but Kyle Tucker, I think, especially just compared to some of these other outfielders that are even more expensive than him, Kyle Tucker could be the best hitter in baseball. Like, who would be surprised if he was the best hitter in baseball this season? I sure wouldn't be. And the lefty-lefty matchup isn't a problem with him. He hits everybody. So I really like Kyle Tucker. Again, you just picked a Houston outfielder too. And I just really think that Kyle Tucker can provide so much value.
I will never, ever, ever argue against Kyle Tucker. So we need to save $300 here, which is very easy to do. We can, now it's a matter of where are we going to move down? I think the easiest place for us to move down is CJ Abrams, right? We lose that stolen base potential, but
you could go Volpe and he still has stolen base potential too.
We could go Volpe, and he does have that stolen base potential as well. We could do that. Little action there on the on that side. Yeah. Where else? I don't. It's so funny. What's that?
I was saying you can always go away from Tucker too, and I think you also have some good outfield options. And you Randy Rosarina, Jazz Chisholm. The outfield is deep too, so. You don't have to lock into Kyle Tucker. I just wanted to shout out my love for him.
Well, listen, and that's what it's all about. Like, I want to build lineups around guys that you love. Like, that's the thing. I'm going to build lineups around guys who I love as well. So, we can show you, there's a zillion different ways to kind of fit in there. John and Pemba's got the playbook, and in the playbook, he's got all of his value options and his expensive options. These are some of our favorites here at, multiple pricing tiers. But yeah, man, listen, I'm not gonna throw that away. Like the top part of that Houston lineup there, right? I can definitely dig that. We get that Will Benson in there. Maybe he's gonna hit near Christian Encarnacion Strand. Probably not, but we'll see. Can't hate on that. What's a project? I'm gonna go back to Fantasy Alarm right here and see what that projected lineup is for them. They've got Encarnacion Strand at 4, and our good friend Will Benson down at the bottom. Wah, wah.
Maybe they'll push him up. Maybe they'll probably not.
Well, yeah, we got to see what happens. We got to update this here because it still says Noel V. Marte in my sheet.
That's not happening. We know that for sure.
Oh, Noel V. All right. Well, listen. Any final words here? Maybe there's a fade that you want to give. Maybe there's a stack that you want to take a use of. Let's wrap things up here for the show. And again, folks, we'll tighten all of this up here. This is our first go. It's opening day. We're both giddy. We want to talk about a ton of guys.
Oh yeah. I had one fade I put down as Manny Machado, but I don't even really need to cover that. I like Manny Machado. I just like the depth of third base. But yeah.
I could dig that. All right. Well, I'm gonna do a little update the entry there. I might play around with this tomorrow morning before these games start, but just wanted to make sure that we jumped in for all of that for everybody. Henry, this is going to be a blast, man. I'm so psyched that you and I are going to be doing this show together. I think we're going to not only have a ton of fun, but I know we're going to make a bunch of money. I mean, the day that shows up where you and I show up after binking a GPP, it's going to be glorious.
Oh, yeah. Going to be a lot of fun. Going to be a great season. I'm looking forward to it.
And again, you can catch me and Henry here 4 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday on the Fantasy Alarm YouTube page. And we'll be helping you out with lineup construction when we have actual lineups sitting right in front of us. So be sure to bookmark it. Again, like and subscribe here on the Fantasy Alarm YouTube page. For Henry Wilson, I'm Howard Bender. Happy opening day, everybody. We'll catch you next time.